This video is not about declaring what definitely happened. It's about whether the official record can actually support the story being told about what happened. There's an important distinction that often gets lost in public discussion. One, DNA can exist. Two, statistics can be generated. Three, profiles can be compared. And yet, the system can still fail to preserve meaning end to end. That's what this video is about. The core issue is architectural, not personal. This isn't about blaming one analyst, one lab, or one decision. In the NIST Human Factors framework, one of the most dangerous failure modes is the silo effect. Each actor completes their task correctly, but the system fails to carry context, meaning, and limitations across handoffs. What I'm examining here is whether the pipeline itself, from scene to collection to documentation to interpretation, preserved enough continuity to support activity level meaning. A system can process steps. That does not mean it produces probative meaning. When space, records, and interpretation don't match. Here's the problem experts face when reviewing this case. There are documented images of biological staining and transfer patterns. Some of those patterns appear in transitional spaces, e.g., half walls, stairwells, exit pathways. But those spaces are not consistently reflected across the medical record, scene narrative, and evidence framework. That creates a fundamental limitation. If an area is visually documented, shows apparent biological transfer, but is not coherently treated as part of the crime scene across records, then no expert can safely reconstruct activity from paperwork alone. That's not a criticism of experts. That's a boundary condition of science. Why this isn't about proving contamination. This video does not claim contamination occurred, evidence was falsified, or conclusions are necessarily wrong. What it does say is this. Once scene boundaries shift, movement occurs, or documentation fails to preserve, as found conditions, activity level interpretation becomes conditional, especially in trace DNA environments. Meaning collapses in the gaps between before versus after movement, between item numbers and actual locations, between photos and written narratives, between statistics and spatial reality. That doesn't make the data useless. It makes it limited. DNA doesn't come with a clock. One of the biggest public misunderstandings in this case is treating DNA like it tells a story by itself. It doesn't. DNA does not tell when, does not tell how, does not tell through which transfer pathway without contextual support. A likelihood ratio can attach to a comparison, but it cannot manufacture timeline or activity if the record can't carry that meaning forward. Numbers are not narratives. Why experts are constrained, not silent. When people ask, why aren't experts saying more? The answer is often structural. Experts are bound by what the record defines as the scene, what areas are searched or excluded, how movement was documented, what was treated as probative versus background. If the paperwork doesn't reflect the physical space, experts cannot responsibly infer beyond it, no matter how compelling photos may appear. That's not evasion, that's scientific restraint and limitation. What this channel is doing. This channel exists to hold space that's increasingly rare, slowing down, resisting narrative pressure, separating source level statements from activity level claims, and refusing to scapegoat individuals for system level architecture problems. I'm not here to crown a verdict. I'm here to ask whether the system actually carried meaning from scene to court. Because no chain is no claim, no map is no timeline, no preserved context is no probative story. I want to leave you with this final thought. If the record can't support the story shouldn't be sold as certainty. That's not doubt for doubt's sake. That's integrity. Thanks for being here, for slowing down, for engaging with the complexity instead of the headline. Architecture, not guilt. I'll see you next time.
Started with a whisper on a leather sheet. Low template goes drumming in the peaks. Octillion odds on a courtroom slide, but the arch was blacked out inside. I followed the trail, not the field. Seemed to lap 2 week guys.